have been a lot of changes to the open field meta in Rise of Kingdoms over the last month or so, and today I will be updating my open field tier list to tell you which commanders are strongest in the open field right now, telling you which ones are going to be the best for you to invest in as of this video. So if you're interested in which commanders are the strongest at the moment, which ones you should run, which ones you should use, and which ones could be strong and powerful options for you, you want to stick around till the end of the video. Now, let's quickly start off by saying, what is this tier list actually? Like, what criteria am I following? And unlike my investment tier list, this tier list is completely different. Nothing in it is the same at all, and it's quite simple for the reason why. When I'm looking at the open field tier list, I'm looking at which commanders are the best in the current meta. I'm not looking at the future. With the investment tier list, I'm trying to predict the future strength of commanders. I'm trying to predict which ones will be stronger, which ones will be weaker. But for this tier list, I just care about the in and the now. I don't care about their future. This is just an open field strength tier list. I don't care if in a year they're going to be absolute rubbish or they will have zero value. I only care about their current strength. And of course, I'll look at, obviously, I know lots of reports and trades. I'll look at their skills. I'll look at their debuffs. I'll look at their pairings. All that stuff will help me decide which commanders are the best right now. So that is how I'm going to be using it to make my decision. I'm not looking at their future potential. I don't give a crap. I only care about their in the moment and their current strength. So commanders who are good right now will get higher rankings. Commanders which are not so good right now, obviously will get ranked down. I also only really care about their open field strength right now, and I will not really account for stuff like other events. I'm not going to care that much about stuff like Sunset Canyon or garrisons. I'm mainly just looking at field strength. I will maybe give some point to garrisons and rallies because you might find that useful, and I'll mention whenever I do that. But if something is just only good for garrison, they're going to get a knockdown in terms of their field strength because this is a field tier list. With that out of the way though, let's switch over to the tier list itself. So now here is the tier list, and we've just got 5 tiers today. We've got Killing Machine, which is just the best tier in and of itself. You've got Powerful. These commanders are good. They're very, very strong. They're very good, like, powerful commanders right now, and they're going to trade well. You've got Usable. You can get away with them. They're not your go-to choice, and they are a bit outdated. You've got Bad, who rarely will ever trade good unless you're in a weird situation. And then you've got No, which are pretty much completely useless on the open field. Starting off though, we have Gorgo, and I want to say that she's probably at the bottom of Powerful or the top of Usable. I'm gonna put her in Usable just because I do know some of the other commanders coming up today. I think Gorgo isn't really at their power level, but she is a good commander, so you could certainly argue her to be into the Powerful tier. I'm just not fully sold on it yet. Maybe if I saw a bit more strength out of her, I'd put her up a tier. Plus, she's really struggling with pairings. Like, you can do Gorgo Lil Chair, but he's got William, who's better. He's also got Alex, who's better. And then you can do maybe Gorgo with Scipio and Melianis, but that pairing's a bit weird because Scipio kind of likes to be a primary. So I don't really know which commander I'd put, or I don't really know why she'd get the Powerful tier. The only thing that really pulls me back on her is her pairings. If she had better pairings, I would put her up a tier. Lil Chair, I mean Killing Machine, 5-target AoE Smite Machine. Like, you just cannot go wrong with him. Ethelfled, right now, she's probably bad in my opinion, even though she's obviously free, and in Season 1 and 2, she's very good. Once you hit Season 3, there's just way more stronger commanders, and it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, she isn't the most meta anymore, and she is definitely a bit outdated. Nevsky, he's going to go in the Powerful tier. I think he'll be the top of, or if not the top, he'll be very close to the top of this tier. I don't want to put him in Killing Machine anymore. He's just not at that level. It's pretty much like saying putting Boudica Prime or Scipio Africanus in Killing Machine makes sense. I don't really know about that. He's really old compared to a lot of the newer meta commanders that we will see at this tier. So I think that right now he's in the Powerful tier. I put him a bit lower in my investment tier. He'd be around this tier. He had his own separate tier, but really he is just powerful right now. Not meta breaking. He's just a good, solid commander in my current opinion. Alex will be usable. The only reason I don't want to put him at Powerful is because Lil Chair does have a better pairing with William Wallace, and it's just going to mean that Alex does lose some field value there. It's just as simple as that. If, obviously, Alex, maybe like a month ago, I would have considered before William Wallace, sorry, I would have considered putting Alex here. I still think Usable is a good position. Attila, he's usable, good rally, good field commander. He's doing pretty good in the current meta. Maybe the new calves will make him even better. We will have to see. Belisarius, I think he's also powerful, definitely weaker than Nevsky in the current meta, but his debuffs and his overall strength right now is pretty good. Xiao Xiao, only really good KVK 1 and 2, barely usable in some Season of Conquest situations or Season 3 situations, but not your go-to. Chandragupta, good debuff, but he lacks in stats and damage, so I think he's quite a bad commander. I'm going to ignore Charlemagne. Charles Martel. Charles Martel is probably, I want to say he's the bottom of usable. He can be an okay city garrison, amazing KVK 1 and 2, we don't really care about though. And then he is okay on the field if you're running like 3 infantry marches. So I don't like Martel, but if you had to, you could maybe get away with him, but he's going to be towards the bottom of usable. CJ, I mean, he's pretty bad in the current meta, not very good. All the gathering commanders, I'll just chuck them into this bottom tier because let's be fully realistic. They're not going to be good in the current open field meta. They're made to gather resources. They are not made to fight other players. Constantine, he's probably in the bad tier just for field strength. Usable, maybe for garrison, I'd say. Field strength, he is just bad though. He's not very good out of Season 1 and 2. Gilgamesh, outdated, not very strong commander. YSS, only a garrison. Zenobia, only a garrison. I'll put her in the bad tier just because of her garrison strength. Edward used to be good in Season 1 and 2, but now you can't migrate back. I don't see a reason in getting him at all. Elcid, not very strong. Eleanor, just a garrison if we're being realistic. Frederick, not very good. Genghis Khan, okay with his relic, maybe, but I really wouldn't run him unless you're super desperate. Hannibal Barker, not very good. Harold, though, Harold I put in usable. He's decent. I mean, you can get away with him. He's not going to be meta breaking. He's not going to be overpowered, but you can get away with him. You can certainly run him. Just don't expect to get ridiculous results. Honda, similar situation. You can run him. He's a good pairing with pretty much anyone, but he's not going to be an amazing pairing. He'll maybe get a 1-for-1 trade, maybe some slightly positive, some slightly negative. He just isn't a meta-ish commander. He's kind of a bit outdated nowadays. Bertrand, you can get away with him on the field, but he wouldn't be your number 1 option by any means, and he's only good for like 5 to 6 cav marches. Artemisia, same case as Bertrand, I'd say. You can get away with her, but I wouldn't run her unless you're looking at, again, like 5 or 6 archer marches. Suleiman, no one cares. Cyrus, same situation to Bertrand, Artemisia as well. You can get away with him, just not going to be your number 1 go-to. He's okay with Henry in really weird situations, but it wouldn't be a march that I'd constantly be running. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. Guan, still very usable in the current meta, I'd say. I don't want to put him at powerful. He's just a very much too squishy commander, but his debuff does put him at that usable tier. Also, his AoE is becoming very outdated nowadays. I'd say most commanders have a 2000 AoE and don't have the restriction of needing to be primary. Not like it's too bad on Guan, but it does make you a bit of a target. So I think that Guan is pretty fair if you place him at the usable tier. Scipio, though, his best pairing, I'd put it powerful. Arguably, I would say better than Nevsky purely because of the AoE and his ridiculous stats and all the other stuff. So Scipio, I think powerful is a very valid place to put him. I don't know about Killing Machine. I do think there are better commanders who give more value or just have more damage and stats. So do keep that in mind. Moving on to Pakal, usable, very similar to Harold, decent commander all round, just not absolutely meta breaking. In terms of Leonidas, he's a no nowadays. Nebu, also usable, decent commander, not really meta breaking. Could be good for 3 archer marches, usable in 2 archer marches. Not really my go-to commander though. Joan, I'll put her in Killing Machine still, even though she's an old cav commander. The double AoE is just insane. You have really good trades you can pull with Joan. Definitely, in my opinion, a better commander than Nevsky nowadays, just for the AoE really. You'll notice most of the Killing Machine commanders, if not all of them, will probably have AoE in their kit, because they are able to just reel in so many kills, it does get a little bit ridiculous. Jedwiga is useless. Zianziska, only a garrison, but a barely good garrison at that. Julius Caesar, only good with like maybe Hache Bing if you don't have him leveled up yet. Really weird pairings, not going to be your go-to. Lubu is rubbish. Mehmed is probably the same power level as Honda, I would say. Not really a go-to commander unless you're looking at like a beginning pairing or you're working on some commanders. Then you could get away with him, but he isn't going to be my number 1 option. Minamoto I'll put in the usable tier as well. Really good beginning Season of Conquest cav commander. Again, though, not really my 100% go-to. Mulan, okay. She's good in Canyon for what that's worth, but I'm not really accounting that. Her buffs are decent, but like you'd rather nowadays 7 DPS marches over 6 and 1 buffing march. So Mulan is not going to be my go-to. I'm going to put Ditto in like the bad. Now I'm going to put her in the no tier. There isn't really an Archer Garrison meta right now, so she's kind of useless. Ragnar, probably the bad tier just because you can run him with Attila. If you couldn't, he'd be an absolute no. Ramsey's pretty bad nowadays. Not the worst, but pretty bad. Richard, he's a no for the field. I mean, you can AoE barb farm with him, but in terms of open field strength, he isn't going to be 100% overpowered. Liuche, we have already done, so I will just put him away. Saladin, though. Saladin is probably bad. He's good against Shajar and the new healing commanders, but that's really specific, and you're not going to have a Saladin just to counter that one march, which isn't going to be everywhere on the open field. So other than that, he is kind of bad, but he has gained a bit of value with the release of Shajar and CY. Flavius, not even a good garrison in my opinion. Boudica, usable. I mean, she's strong. She's a good third Archer March. She's decent for a second Archer March, but she isn't really in the powerful tier anymore, which we did expect at the release of Shajar. So I think that she's worthy to move down a tier. Henry, same case, probably usable. I would say around the power level of Nebuchadnezzar, just for his current situation in terms of open field strength and all. Moctezuma is absolutely useless. Julang though, Julang is a killing machine. I think that's a pretty much guarantee and not much else needs to be said there. Tarek is usable. I think he's good for 4 or 5, even maybe 3 infantry marches. He's just not the most overpowered. Hao Che-bing, powerful commander in my opinion, probably better than Belisarius. I would say overall pretty good. Some even say currently he's aging and doing a bit better than Nevsky. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he is definitely quite a strong commander in the current meta. Heraclius, just because he's garrison meta, I'll put it usable. And even then, you can maybe use him on the field as well, just because of his AoE. I have seen him used before. He isn't going to be killer. He isn't going to be insane. But if you want an AoE commander, you can definitely pick up a Heraclius, and I'd see that as being a plausible option. Sargon, pretty similar situation to Tarek in my opinion. Decent all round, but not going to be your most overpowered. Justinian, very similar situation to Tarek and Sargon. Again, pretty good all round, but not going to be your best go-to option. There are just better cab commanders. Thutmose, I want to put at bad. He's good for like a 6th to a 7th Archer March. He wouldn't really be my go-to. And same thing with Pyrrhus, good for a 6th to 7th Infantry March, but not really a go-to. All the siege commanders, I'm just going to put in usable. A, for my lack of knowledge about them, because I don't fully know everything about siege commanders, and I still cannot remember which is the best pairing, and I think I am missing one of the siege commanders, but I just cannot remember at all, for the life of me, which is the best siege commander pairing. So if you do know which siege commander pairing is the best, please just remind me in the comments. I swear I won't forget it this time. The only reason I'm putting them all at usable, though, I could maybe justify putting the stronger pairings up to powerful, and I still can't remember which one. It might be this pairing, or maybe it is with a Margaret. I think it's with Margaret. It's one of the above. You put them up into powerful just because they are a good pairing, but because of their equipment costs and all, I think they're more in towards the usable tier. But because we're looking at open field strength, I guess I can put Margaret and Gorbardo into powerful. I, again, don't remember if that's the best siege pairing. I wouldn't invest in it until you watch like a Mr. Siege video. I'm going to actually DM him after this video to ask him which is the best. So I think powerful is a good spot for whichever siege march is the best. To my knowledge, I think it is Margaret and Gorbardo, but I could be wrong there. Hermann Prime, I think he's a killing machine still, just because of his debuff and his AoE, but I don't know how long he will last there. I know for investment, I'm pretty sure I put him into this tier, just because he is definitely not at a killing machine, or won't be at a killing machine level in the future. Ashurbanipal, he can go into powerful. He's got the AoE, he's got an AoE single target mix, he's very stat heavy, and he's arguably in the best second Archer March. Scipio Aemilianus, probably the top of the usable tier in my opinion. Definitely quite a strong commander, but not absolutely meta changing. William Wallace, I'm edging on putting into killing machine, but I'm thinking I'll put him in powerful for now. He's really good with Julang. I think he's a really good investment. I just don't know about his overall open field power. Is he going to be the most meta right now? Probably not, but he definitely does have quite a bit of open field strength. Shajar, I'm also going to put her in powerful. The only thing she lacks is a very, very, very good pairing, though I do think in terms of investment, she's got a lot of potential if you're willing to risk it. So in terms of a risky investment, she's amazing, but for open field strength right now, probably towards that powerful tier. CY is usable. I think he's good. Well, I know he's good with Shajar if you run him as a primary, but he isn't going to be the most overpowered guy on the field. He does get good trades and all. Really inaccessible though, which I think is another problem. And that's another reason I don't really want to put him up into the powerful tier. But he is a very usable and strong commander. I'd say he's teetering on being in powerful. Just he is a little bit under strength. Moving on to Amanaturi. I mean, she's probably a no nowadays just because Artemisia has better pairings and overall the pairing itself isn't good, and Amanitore has no other pairing she can go with, which definitely impacts her effectiveness. Takeda, in bad for the same reasons as Ragnar, works with Attila, thus can be a pretty good pairing. Theodora is useless. Tomyris, I'll put her in bad. I mean, you can get away with her. She's not going to be overpowered at all. She's not even going to be that good, but you can definitely run her. Trajan, probably again in the bad tier for similar reasons to Mulan. You can run both of them, you can use them in Canyon and all, but they're not going to be the most overpowered on the open field. They're not going to be very overpowered in really any situation besides like Sunset Canyon, and even then I've seen them get slightly phased out over the last couple of months since we are seeing a lot more healing commanders like Shajar and a lot of commanders pumping out some crazy damage numbers. William Wallace, usable. I mean, you could run him in a 2-cav march ball with Hao Che-bing. You can run him a 3-cav march ball. I'd say he's essential by 3-cav marches. So he's a very strong commander. I don't see why you couldn't consider him one of the better commanders for the game. Wu Zetian is a joke. Zhang Yu, on the other hand, is not a joke. He's probably around a similar power level to William, maybe a little bit weaker. So I think that he's also a relatively usable commander. And finally, YSG, again, relatively usable commander. In my opinion, a still pretty decent choice to run on the field. Definitely not going to be as overpowered as maybe Alex with Liu Che, but is going to be pretty good with commanders like Shajar or even Hermann Prime. Alright, so I've reorganized the tier list now. I've reorganized the killing machine tier, the powerful tier, and the usable tier, which means they should pretty much be in order from the best commanders to the worst. One thing is Gorgo should be a little bit higher on the list, so I have moved her up, but other than that, this is probably the final list. I would say pretty confidently this is around where I would personally put most commanders for their open field strength. It's pretty close to where I think most players would agree. Let me know if you think otherwise, but I do think that this is the most overall tier list that we'd get. It's pretty close to the open field strength. A lot of commanders nowadays are a bit tough to rank. I'm kind of, for example, I'd consider putting CY into powerful. Some may say Guan deserves powerful. And sometimes I get stuff like even commanders like Hermann Prime should only be in the usable tier. So there's a lot of conflicting information when it comes down to which commanders are best. So I've tried to use my judgment and discern what I think is the best commander. So if you do think that is, so this would be my own personal open field tier list. By no means am I an expert in every single commander fully, but this is from my general knowledge, what I would say is close to almost fully accurate for the best open field commanders right now. With that being said, if you did enjoy today's video, I just want to ask you guys to please do consider subscribing to the channel. Subscriptions really do help me. It's a very small thing you can do, and anyone that does subscribe has a massive impact on my algorithm. So just subscribing really does help out the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Other than that, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.